Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Kleitch, and I am the creator of the Life with Nick YouTube channel and the host of the Life with Nick podcast. And in this video, guys, just wanted to introduce myself, have you get to know me a little bit, know who I am, know what you're going to be receiving from my channel, and then with that, my vision at the end of the day, because I really want you to know if my channel is for you or not. So let's dive right into discussing what you're going to be receiving for the channel. Really, there's two major things. The first is a podcast, and the second is what I call a book read. So, as it pertains to the podcast, I just love talking to people, and I love interviewing people, and I love to learn, and I'm very curious. And so I bring on people that I'm interested in. I bring on people that have interesting careers. I bring on people that have accomplished very, very cool and badass things. And I do that because I think everyday people are awesome. I'm an everyday person. I think we need to give voice to everyday people. And I really think that we can learn from everyday people as well. So that's really the motivation to the podcast, is trying to find these really cool everyday folks that can have open dialogues on whatever topic it is that I have kind of wanted to hone in on. So that's numero uno. Number two, the book read portion. This is going to seem just a little bit strange to those that are tuning in for the first time because they don't know me and they're like, book reads, what is Nick talking about here? So essentially what my goal is to produce a book read once a month. And essentially, if it's a book that I have not read for the first time, and I'm reading it for the first time currently for the channel, I'm going to give you a concept overview of that book. And so basically, you're going to get a high level context breakdown of every chapter throughout the book and through the whole book. Now, if I have read a book multiple times and I feel like I'm going to apply it to more of a real life application, that is the route I'm going to take. So either way, I'm going to be teaching that book. It's just going to be a matter of, are we staying super high level or are we diving into the details? Now, I should specify a little bit. What type of books would I actually be reading, right? That's important for you guys to know as you tune in. So my genre, my niche is nonfiction. Books on personal growth and development, books on business, books on spirituality, on habits, on health and wellness, finances, all of that. Practical, good books is what I'm going to be working through over the duration of my channel. Now, I will say I have read fiction. There's a couple of personal development books specifically that are fiction that I think are really, really good. However, if the more we get over to the fiction side of things, the more I kind of tune out a little bit. No dissing on fiction. It's just who I've kind of found myself to be, and I like me some nonfiction as far as that is concerned. So that is the two pieces that you will be getting from me. Now, let's talk about why I do all this. And this involves a little bit of a short story, so please bear with me. So one night I was essentially waking up from the night before, I was waking up in quite a bit of just a very, very weird headspace. The night before, unfortunately, I had been arrested and detained for a DUI. And the day prior, our baseball coaches, played college baseball, said, hey, we have a 48-hour no drinking rule. It's pretty easy not to fuck this up because it's just don't drink, do whatever you need to do, and you'll be fine. Unfortunately, young Nick was a rebel and decided to break the rules, and I went out and I got punished for doing this. So fast forward a little bit, and I'm not someone who gets DUIs, and I don't say that to boast. I'm just saying, like, that's just not who I am as a person. I like to party and have fun, but I knew where to draw the line. But I had gotten too far at this point, and I was not in a good headspace, made a very poor decision. So that was poor decision number one. By the way, don't drink and drive. It is not a good thing. Then the big blow, which was me getting kicked off the baseball team. And with that, essentially ending my college career and my college sporting career on a terrible note. This is really what did me in. and I should have been punished, and I'm glad that I was punished to the capacity that I was punished. And with that, in addition to all of these things, my parents did end up getting divorced as well too. Which, if mom or dad watches this video, just know that I love you very much. It's mainly just a point to the story for me. So all those things compound, and I'm in just the worst position in my life, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and just in a fucking terrible place. So with that being said, I turned to drugs and alcohol, and I abused them, and I was becoming someone who I wasn't. I was becoming a version of myself who is not normal, who I am as a person. And I used it before, during, and after. And really, this is what led to just complete rock bottom in my perception at the time. So basically, I had about a month's time off to just kind of wait for time to tick by on getting kicked off the team and wrapping up college. So I had a bunch of time on my hands. And so on my nightstand, I had a couple books. And how did I get these books? I have no idea. However, one was John Maxwell's Failing Forward, and one was Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so I read these books, and there was something in there that was just really calling to me. It was just good information on how to handle failure, how to talk to people, how to get to know people, why it's important to treat people well, all of these things. And I was like, okay, there's something to this, and I need to keep going on this. Now, it may sound like that was the pivotal moment, right? Where it was like, oh my God, Nick read these 2 personal development books and he went on to change everything. Not this kind of story. Went on to, unfortunately, make a lot of bad judgments, and just wasn't again the version of myself of who I wanted to be. However, there was a moment that promoted me to take total responsibility for everything that had happened in my life, and also accountability to whatever had happened. So I was able to find that and say, okay, I was the one who led me to this position, and yet when I was here, if I led me here, I can lead myself out. And so I slowly began to just continue to read within the genre. And if you want lasting change, you can have it. You just have to think much more long term, not how do I change my life in 30 days? That's just not how it works. Anyways, to the more positive parts of the story and what led us to the channel. Over the next 5 years, I essentially had read a book or 2 a month. And through that process of year over year over year of doing that, I saw incredible internal progress in my mindset, in my emotional health, in my spiritual journey, and in my fitness journey. It also helped me figure out who I was, gaining some self-awareness. What did I enjoy? What did I want to stand for? How did I want to approach my life, and much more. So just as a quick note, as of today, I've read over 75 different personal development and business and lifestyle and spiritual books up until this point, and I'm the best that I've ever felt. And the reason I wanted to create this channel is because I had obtained so much great information from these books that I felt obligated, and it was my duty to share this with the world. Because if I'm making such great progress in doing this, everyone can do it, because I'm just an everyday person at the end of the day. So the only issue with personal growth, I would say, is it's all internal, right? It's not like we're building a house and you get to see the house when it's done. However, there are these really good inside kind of changes that you can feel in your personality, in your mindset, in your emotional healing, in your spiritual beliefs. All of that leads to becoming a more rounded individual. So I have a personal goal of reading 1,000 books in my lifetime. And I hope just in general that this inspires you to read more, because I think reading at the end of the day is an incredible thing. So now to the vision and forward looking. Now that you know the why, you know what you're receiving, I want to hammer on the future. So essentially, I want to become a resource on the podcasting side for people who just enjoy hearing from other people, from other everyday people. And I say that because if you're anything like me, I listen to these other podcasts from very high level people. And I think, okay, they're super high on the food chain, right? Whether it's fame, career, money, whatever it is. And I can't relate to them in some ways. I try to, right? But these are all people that have already had incredible deals in their life. And so what I'm trying to do is really bring a local feel, local presence to everyday people for everyday people, because I am an everyday person. So that's kind of my goal with the podcast part of my vision. The other part, and to pivot into the book reads, as we talked about, is I wanted to become someone who can provide you insights on books that you may be considering reading. So the way that I have this set up is in YouTube and on the channel, I created what they call playlists. And so on YouTube, you can find people that do book summaries, or you can find people that do the whole book read. Literally, they sit down for hours and just read the book in one sitting. I try to mash the two together. So these playlists are going to be anywhere from 9 to 36 videos of me reading the book, either chapter by chapter or portion by portion. And I wanted to do the playlist format so then that way you can come in at any moment within that book to figure out if it's for you. So if you maybe heard someone talking of a certain book, let's take, for example, Tim Ferriss's book. He's written a handful of them, but he's a fairly popular personal development guy and lifestyle guy. And there was this podcast that he did on chapter 5. You would be able to come to my channel and say, okay, I wonder if Nick had read this book, and yes, he has. Let's go to chapter 5 and dive in to see what specifically it was. Or maybe it's a topic, right? Maybe it's a topic of personal finance. Hey, has Nick read any personal finance books? Yes, he has. What do those chapters on those topics really mean? So then that way I can either go out and buy the book, or I can just get that information from Nick. In addition to all of that exposure, right? If you want to buy a book and read along with me, I would be very honored for that. If you wanted to get one and then go through the videos along what I do, comment, share, whatever you want to do, that would be the most ideal situation, because you're not only reading, but you're reading with your virtual partner, which is Nick, which is really cool. And feel free to just also send me messages there too, because maybe I could read one with you in the future, if you will. So just to wrap up this video on kind of a motivational note, and thank you guys so much for spending time with me on this, just know that there is a path out there for a more developed life that is awaiting you. I would be honored to walk alongside you on this journey as we work to evolve ourselves every month, every quarter, every year, throughout a lifetime. Because I really do believe that everyone can grow and change, and I think everyone deserves to feel that progress that one can make. And with that, I'm not trying to sell this in a kind of fluffy nature of like, oh, like, you know, what's Nick up to? It's like, no, I've made these strides personally through reading, journaling, physical well-being, spiritual and emotional healing. And because I've walked that path, I'm encouraging others to do that as well. And you'll feel more foolproof after you've gone through some of that personal work to become a better version of yourself. And I say all this because I love people and I believe in people. I think our ability to do things is just far and above the coolest thing in the human experience. So I want to inspire you to go out and make a difference in the world, through personal growth. Now, what does that mean, right? That can sound pretty fluffy and like, oh, look to this motherfucker up here talking about personal growth and, you know, all that other stuff. And really the point I want to make is that if everyone were to take their lifetime, so to speak, and focus on this personal growth, you're slowly going to evolve yourself into a higher version with more skills, more capacity, more patience, more spiritual healing, all of this stuff. And through that individual work, you can then go out into the world and be a better person. And if everyone did that, right, if everyone tried to focus on that, I do believe that we could come to a better, more evolved world. So all of that is to say, if this video and myself calls to you in any way, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button. So then that way you can be up to date on the podcast, and you can also be up to date on my completed book reads. And here's the other thing I want to say. This video was not made for you just to say that for you, right? Just to say, hey, oh, go subscribe to my channel. I don't want that. I want someone to subscribe to the channel if they believe in anything that I had said about the earlier part of this video. I say that because I want to create a tribe of people that aren't necessarily lunatics, but people that just share similar values to what I believe in and what this channel stands for. I want people that are interested and at least open-minded to all of the great characteristics that come along with personal growth and just being a great everyday person. So if that does call to you, then subscribe. And with that, be a part of my tribe, be a part of the tribe underneath that Life with Nick brand. And I'm super, super excited to share this channel with you guys because there's a lot of exciting things ahead. So thank you all for the commitment to me if you're going to make it, and also just as a friend, if you do come in, even if I don't know you, would love to meet you and become a friend. So then that way we have a little bit of virtual coherence, if you will. So just to put the cherry on the top here, I did have a quote that I did want to share, and then we will get out. And that is, the man or woman who loves to walk will always walk farther than the man or woman who has a destination in mind. And I share that quote because if we love the process of getting better in every way that we can over time, then we will become better. And when we become better, we make everything around us better. And that's what we deserve, and that's what everyone else deserves, is the best version of ourselves. So thank you guys so much. Feel free, scroll in the YouTube channel to see the podcast and see the book reads, and feel free to reach out through messaging or my email, or if you want to check out my website, that's another way to get in contact. So thank you guys very much, and I appreciate it.